Nowadays, it's actually never been easier to stay isolated and be by yourself. There's so many things that can keep you busy and that'll keep you alone. Like, there's so many different games you can play that are super time consuming, and social media is literally designed to keep you like glued to your phone and scrolling and having that constant stimulation there to just keep you on your screen. And also, just all these movies and shows, like, there's just so much out there designed to keep you on your screen and to keep you isolated. And honestly, that's pretty scary. Um, Nowadays, when I'm going online, I see a lot of reports that people in Gen Z in our generation aren't really hanging out as much, aren't having as much social interaction as previous generations. And that's honestly a scary thing. I feel like another culprit of it is people are so preoccupied. Like, a lot of people are workaholics. I'm guilty of this too, where it's, you want to really grind to make money so that you can set yourself up to be comfortable in the future. But it's important to not get too caught up in this so that, you actually have time for other people. You don't want to be all work and no play. As a wise man once said, maybe he wasn't so wise if you know where it's from, but all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely do not want to be a dull boy. I really think it's super important for us to try and break out of that as much as we can. I mean, one reason I didn't bring like a console to call to university is because I actually didn't want the temptation of staying inside and not being social. I mean, I didn't do it because of the stigma that's going on right now. It just relates to it right now. But it's super important to try however we can to do things with other people and stay in touch and whatnot. So I do want to tell you guys a little story, little flashback story. So a few weeks ago, took a little bender. Woke up in the city at my friend's place, and I had to Uber to the train station and get back home and whatnot. But so basically, I'm pretty hungover. Like, I'm like foggy brain. Like, I woke up at like 10, spent like an hour cleaning up. It was kind of a disaster. I didn't feel too good. But anyways, so after a while, I finished cleaning up and everything, pack my stuff. I call an Uber, and I get I get in the Uber with this like 50-year-old Afghani guy, and he just immediately starts chopping it up with me. And like, this dude, it seems surreal like looking back on it, but this dude genuinely gave me some of the best advice like I've ever heard. The advice was so good, I actually forgot I was hungover for the Uber ride. It was like a 15-20 minute Uber ride, and I was just locked into what this guy was saying. But one of the things that he was emphasizing was, he was asking me about what I did this weekend. I said I hung out with friends. First thing he says is like, "Man, I miss hanging out with my friends. It's really important that you spend time with people you care about as much as you can while you're still young, because when you get older and things get harder in life and you get busier, it's a lot harder to make time to do things with those people." So that really got me thinking, like, you know, it's it's even easier to be a little isolated when you're older because, you have more responsibilities and more time on your hands, or I mean less time on your hands. But I mean, that really got me thinking, like, we really have to make the most of that kind of stuff while we're still young. He was also telling me, just like, always take care of the people you love, especially if they ask, for help or anything. Um, and basically, this guy just made me reflect on my life and my approach to it lately. He made a big emphasis on like not overworking yourself to the point where, like, not only do you not have time, but you don't have energy either. Like, that's gonna make time slip through your fingers. And like, looking back on this last year, there were chunks of it where I definitely was overworking myself, and not having a lot of time for other things. And like, it really made the time fly by. Like, there was like a 5-month period that went by just like that, and it was pretty crazy. But obviously we have to make money. But one thing he said to me, like, I'll never forget, he said, memories with people that you care about are more valuable than anything that money can buy. And when I thought about, like, when he said that, I like briefly thought to myself about some of the best times I've had with my friends. And like, he was kind of right. Like, that brought such an insane smile to my face that I don't think any amount of money ever could. I mean, maybe that's a bit of a lie. Like, if someone plopped $1 billion on my table right now, I'd be cheesing pretty hard. But, anyways, point is like, yeah, memories, lifelong memories with your people are like insanely crucial to you, you know? And, so he's Afghani, and he actually lived in like three other countries aside from the U.S. But one thing he said about the U.S. and his experience is he said that it's such a beautiful country to explore and spend time in, but most of the people who live here don't actually have the time to do any of that. And that was pretty eye opening because, like, I think it's pretty true, you know, especially for people in our generation now. Like, you're out of college, like, we're grinding to make a living. Like, we don't have as much time or money to go, like, see the world and whatnot. And that was another thing he said. Like, you don't want to overwork yourself so that you can take the time to appreciate the little things and like go see the world, and have time to keep important relationships in your life. But connecting all of this back to the beginning of the video, like how it's super easy to stay isolated, and how scary that is. Like, at our age, like, right now I'm pretty young, I'm 24, but at our age, we should genuinely be making as much time for fun as we can. And that doesn't mean to like dodge responsibilities, right? Like, you got to go to work, you got to take care of yourself, keep your health up, go to the gym, you know and there's sometimes stuff you got to do after work, stuff around the house or whatever. But as much as you can without losing productivity, like, to make time to hang out with people you care about, like whether it's your cousins or your parents or your friends. Like, I mean, like, did this whole conversation with the Uber driver really made me look back on all the memories I have with the people that I care about. And honestly, if I didn't have those memories, my me looking back on the quality of my life would be insanely different. Like, I feel like a huge part of why I look back fondly on my 24 years of life is because of the people who are around me that made it good. If I didn't have those people around me, one, not only would I be who I am, but two, like, I wouldn't have any of the experiences that I can think back on right now. And there is a difference. Like, I don't think that what I'm saying means to like go to the bar and get shit faced with the boys every weekend, because like that's not really healthy, and it's not a great use of money. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you can still go to the bar with the boys from time to time. Like, I still definitely do that. But I mean, it could be like a bunch of stuff, like, golfing with the boys, like pick up hoops, going on a hike, or maybe even like a quick weekend road trip somewhere. You get an Airbnb, like, personally, like, this is a little more on the expensive side, but I only do it every now and then. But genuinely, one of my favorite things to do is go to a music festival with the boys. I mean, first of all, there's something about live music that really just speaks to me and touches my soul, especially if it's an artist that I really like and am familiar with and care about. But a music festival is genuinely like a whole experience. Like, when you're out there in the crowd, like, you feel the music in your chest, and that's genuinely like an irreplaceable feeling. Um, but there's something to be said about being able to just dance and experience like insane performances together that really brings you together. And there's a bunch of other things you can do that'll bring you together. But I'm just talking about one of my favorite things in the music festivals. But you know, like one example that me and my friends always laugh about is like we really like going to EDM festivals. I guess you can call them, yeah, raves. We like going to raves, but something about seeing your boy react to a sky full of lasers with a good amount of booze in him is just hilarious. Will never fail to get a laugh out of me when I think about it. But yeah, anyways, back to this day with the Uber driver. He's spitting all this crazy advice to me, just making, when I get to the station, I as soon as I got out of the car, I suddenly remembered exactly how hungover I was. So, your boy took an edible to cope or just to assist with the recovery. And, I hop on the train, and when the eddies started kicking in, they really had me thinking and tripping like I was already an old man, full of regret, someone who didn't stay in touch with their friends and didn't have any memories to look back on going forward. And that shit made me sad, bro. Genuinely sad. Um, that also tells you what kind of headspace I was in at the time. But still, it made me sad thinking about a hypothetical future where I don't have these memories with people to share, you know? And I don't think any of us want to be that guy who doesn't have anything to look back on. I mean, like I said before, the main reason I look back on my life very happily is because of the people around me who made it that way. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and remind you guys to just slow life down when you can and make time for your boys, for your family, make time for all those people so that you don't blink and you're 20 years down the road with a bunch of regret of things you could have, should have, and would have done for and with people. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video, and if you have any low key, I do want to hear if you guys have any like cool Uber stories where a driver was giving you some really good advice. I'm always someone looking for more wisdom out there to get in the noggin. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for making it to the end. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you like your boy. It means a lot. But anyways, stay frosty, fellas. I'll see you in the next one.